Hello! In this video, I'm going to be talking about Laos. A year ago, I'd never even heard of Laos. Turns out it's a country. And I'm proud to say that I've now travelled to it and it is a pretty cool place. Laos is situated in Southeast Asia, sort of wedged between Thailand and Vietnam. When I did hear about Laos, the first thing I heard about was the tubing, and so my very first question was like, what's the deal? Like, what is tubing in Laos? Basically, tubing is where you get ridiculously drunk floating down a river in a giant rubber donut. In Laos, it takes place in a little town called Vang Vieng. There used to be bars all the way down the river and like trapezes and zip wires that you could fling yourself off. But sadly, due to a significant amount of deaths, there's no circus equipment left and there's actually only 3 bars left down the river. But alas, we still went and it was still amazing and still definitely worth the trip. Then it proposed the question, what else is there to do in Laos? Because surely tubing isn't the only thing. There aren't many places to do things for first-time backpackers in Laos, but the places that are there are pretty special. One of these places is Luang Prabang. Bizarre name, I know, but possibly the cutest little town on earth. Adorable little boutiques, unique market stalls, beautiful historic sites. And we didn't have time to do this, but everyone who went recommended a beautiful waterfall nearby that is just a common trip to go on there, so I definitely recommend doing that. Another place, of course as mentioned before, is Vang Vieng. Not only is there the tubing, which I must add gives you the reason to wear this trendy gear, believe it or not, Vang Vieng is also home to maybe the best baguettes ever. I believe there's some sort of French background, which should make sense because nearly every other food stall is baguettes. And maybe it's just because you're always drunk when you eat one, but they really are amazing. Also, Fat Monkey's Bar is sort of the place to be, not just because you get amazing t-shirts if you drink enough. I've also linked below the hostel that I stayed in. It was just a great hostel. Okay, finally, Vientiane. Vientiane is the capital of Laos. From what I've heard, there really isn't that much to do, so I wouldn't recommend staying long. It's only really used for backpackers as a sort of transport changeover. And that brings me nicely onto transport and getting around. Now, unless you fly into Vientiane, getting into Laos is not convenient. It's very much possible, but it is less than luxurious. We got a bus and a slow boat from Chiang Mai into Luang Prabang, and the whole time no one knew what was going on. The whole thing took over 24 hours. Our bags got lost at one point. The Laos accommodation was ridiculously dodgy. And getting out of Laos, we took a 16-hour sleeper bus from Vientiane to Hanoi. It took 36 hours. 36 hours like this. Yes, I'm looking delightful in that photo. I think it's fair to say you just get delirious when you're on a bus for that long, and it is not pleasant. So yeah, if you can afford it, most definitely fly into Vientiane. But if you do decide to take the longer sleeper bus option, they are super easy to book at any travel agents from the destination that you're travelling from. With regards from getting from Luang Prabang to Vang Vieng, you can get a fairly painless 6-hour minibus which won't break the bank. How much should I budget? Like Thailand, Laos is also very cheap. The currency is in kip and the exchange rate is £1 to 13,088.69 Lao kip. Not exactly a simple exchange rate. The way I worked it out was to divide the Lao kip by 10,000 and then take a little bit off, if that makes sense. So for example, if something was 50,000 kip, I would say that it's a little bit less than £5. Make sense? Expect to pay about £2 to £3 for accommodation, super cheap, £5 for food. You're most likely to be eating out in a restaurant or getting the baguettes, but both really cheap. The towns are really small, so you won't be really getting very much short taxi rides, so maybe budget like £1 for that. With activities in Laos, there really isn't that much to do, but I'd still budget about £7 because you're always going to want to buy something or go shopping. Then of course you will need extra money for the longer journeys going in, out and across the country. The horrific bus we got from Vientiane to Hanoi cost us about £25, which isn't bad at all, but yes, it is horrific. And travelling from Luang Prabang to Vang Vieng cost us no more than about £10. But yeah, I would budget about £15 a day and then extra for the longer journeys. Visas! I'm afraid if you're a UK citizen, you will need a visa for Laos, but you can get these really easily on arrival. I think they cost about £20 and all you need is a passport, and a separate passport photo of yourself. So remember to factor in the cost for that as well, but if you haven't got Lao kip at that point, you can definitely pay in US dollars. Can I travel there alone? Again, just like Thailand, you're guaranteed to make friends in any hostel you stay at, so yes, of course you can travel by yourself. And I think that's it for Laos, so my next video will be on Vietnam.